Well, I had some ideas for some paintings, and this is what I sketched out. So now I'm just going to work a little bit on bringing these sketches to life here. I'm going to try and be pretty meticulous like that. It's so hard to get this exact shape in and do it in a circle. And I'm just going to try and outline it and stay pretty close so I can keep the sharp edge. Then bring the color down into the flower. That's so pretty. I love that. And I'm just getting my paintbrush in my water and dabbing off any excess so it's almost like a dry brush. A thirsty brush. And I'm trying to make this very cool center with the end of the petal, so it kind of naturally makes itself a cool little center. Like that, leaving it jagged on some parts. Definitely think it helps to dip into the water each time. So it just gives you that security that you know it's gonna be wet enough to give you some color. Oh wow, that's so pretty. I love that. But that one was Permanent Carmine, which I thought was really pretty. It's kind of a pinky red. I might just try this kind of thing I had here. So this one I was going to try with, kind of like a big block of emerald green and then indigo on top to kind of mix and make a darker green. I was more curious with this one what the blending would look like. So now I'm going to try and just lay it over and see how it comes out when I wet it. Size 6 again. I'm going to try and do the emerald green first, just so I don't muddy the whole thing. I don't want to muddy it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to do the indigo. And I am going to let it kind of work its way through the wet of the emerald green. So I'm just going to come back in while it's wet and do kind of these blending marks on top of each other. And this is probably a lot of water for this paper. But this is my sketchbook, so I'm not worried about it. I'm more interested in seeing the reaction of these patterns and these colors and just kind of having fun. So isn't that interesting? So when I put it on the wet, it really stayed in its form. It just kind of blended. So that could be the paper. It could be the fact that I put the pencil on wet paper instead of dry. But I'm not mad at that. So I have dark cadmium yellow and dark chrome yellow. So I'm going to use that for the inside. And these are kind of on the orangey side, even though they're yellows. So I thought blue would be really pretty for the petals as a complementary color. So I have light ultramarine and ultramarine. I like to kind of start with the base, and then that kind of lends me to the end of the flower and how like tall the petal is going to be. I'm going to start with just kind of like light pressure for the top of the petals. And then I'm going to come in with the darker blue at the bottom and hopefully kind of blend them pretty well. One of the things I've been working on this year for my own personal creative journey is just kind of really freeing myself artistically by using different mediums that I am unfamiliar with and haven't used frequently. So it really helps me to kind of not worry about the end result, because I really don't even know what it's supposed to look like, or you know, how other people's work looks. So it really kind of takes me back to being a kid making art, you know, not just kind of trying to figure out fun designs and shapes and patterns. And in fact, I've been kind of going back to a lot of the things that I would doodle as a kid and just kind of like tracing that memory back and following it, you know, where the art leads me, just like doing that kind of art and then seeing what other art comes to mind when I do that. And it doesn't always produce the best art, but it frees me up to not be so concerned about things. And actually, you know what? I think I'm going to outline these a little bit too, if I can still see it. I think that would be a cool touch. And not all the way up, just kind of like, you know, enough to create some drama on the flower. Okay, so I'm going to use my little one, my size 3, for the center of the flower. And I'm going to start out with it, you know, being kind of like this, you know, wet but a little dry. And then I'm going to do it color by color and then kind of step back and see. Darken it up, but my paper's already pilling, so anyway, I'm gonna try this one again. Guess I can do it here because this pencil's kind of light. Just didn't want the pencil to be in the art, but it's a sketchbook, so I'm not worried about it. Okay. We can bring in some indigo. I'm gonna go on this kind of non-pointy side. I feel like it kind of camouflages and blends in a little bit better. And then what I might do is come back on the edge and use the sharper tip to make some serious definition, maybe down the side. And then I'm going to come back in with my emerald green. And I'm just going to try and layer, you know, and maybe it'll kind of give a different feel. Okay. All right. Gonna try it. The edges inward. Ooh, that looks very nice. I like that a lot. So I'm just using like the slightest amount of water, really, and just going back into the water and kind of taking the excess with my hand and kind of swiping it away. Yeah, I like that better. So now we're gonna do the flower. The dark is definitely more substantial than the light. I usually don't use my sketchbook like this. I usually just pencil draw. But I kind of, you know, made these sketches and then thought, how am I going to bring these to life? And maybe someone else might like to know that too. So if I do start here in the darker section, I make sure not to bring it up into the lighter because it will just overwhelm it. So I rinse off my brush and then I come into the light and kind of blend it and blend the light into the dark. So something I've been doing the last couple petals is when I come down here into the dark blue, I then, in order to kind of help the gradient, I bring the dark blue up and it kind of creates, see how it creates these streaks and kind of natural blue colors. It looks more natural for a flower. So I like that. I definitely like how the dark came about more than the light. But I can always probably come in and add a little bit more. And just kind of like mute those a little bit, just kind of flick them. And I'm going to come in a little bit more with the lighter blue. Kind of work it in a little bit more. I'm going to keep my 3 just so I can kind of maintain control and water. I think it turned out really cute. I like that for a first try. So now, I guess we can come in here. Maybe we can try this dark cadmium yellow. Try and do a little mini version of these petals within the petals. And I'm not going to worry about trying to connect them, even though they probably will, because it's such a hard pattern to get down. So that looks cool already. Now we can kind of come in with our yellow, kind of bring it down like we did our red. And I'm trying to stay, again, real like precise with the lines. Cool. Okay, and I think with this middle cadmium red, I might just do some kind of, just like that, you know, just little kind of cutesies. So this is Prussian blue, cobalt turquoise, cobalt green, and dark phthalo green. So I'm going to use them in this order and just kind of vary the thickness of the lines, just real haphazardly. This one might be a little harder with the water as far as not having it mix, but if it does, we'll just see. Okay, so I'm going to try with my 4/10. We'll see. This is probably going to be too small, but yeah, it's a little small. It just doesn't hold the water like you need it to. It's not too bad. It's just so cool to see the water activate the pencil. It just doesn't get old. It's so neat. Oh, that's kind of an interesting idea. Putting like wooding it and then putting the drops in there to kind of make another pattern within the pattern. I'm gonna try that. It kind of helps too with the, like, kind of like blur the messiness, you know. Just see what that, or alcohol would be a good one, or even like a metallic paint. I was thinking that earlier. I was like, oh, metallic paint would be really pretty with this, with these greens and blues. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Ooh, I'm gonna use a bigger brush because maybe that kind of blending between them all actually is kind of what we want, instead of keeping them so separated. So it's like when you use a lot of water, it kind of allows the lines to stay but bleed within each other and kind of make one big pattern. So you don't have the white, you kind of have different shades of the colors around it, which is really nice. I like that. So I'm just trying now to fill in all that white space with the color around, but see, the stripes are left. Oh, that is so cool. I really like that. I really like how it does that. And I thought the color bleed of the colors would be a little more intense, and so you would lose the line markation, but you don't. That's really cool. I like that. I don't know if I have a favorite. Oh, I don't know. I think it's these three, actually. But I think I like this one and this one a lot. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to kind of bring your sketches to life and to kind of understand and realize that they can change and morph on their own, and that that's okay. And if you don't like that, then the elements that you need to be able to control your art in the way that that doesn't happen. So I hope you liked this little exploration tutorial with me, and I will see you guys next time.